Perfect. Okay, awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us today for this virtual public meeting. I am Hannah Mahaney, the environmental planner on this project, and I'm here with other members of the project development team. This evening, I will be presenting, as well as Saman Sohaili, the Caltrans project manager, and James Tucker, the Caltrans project engineer. Welcome to the virtual public meeting for the State Route 1 Bridge Rail Replacement Project in Marin County. Caltrans is the CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, lead agency for the project and has prepared a draft initial study with proposed negative declaration, or draft ISND. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the draft ISND, including impacts to the natural and physical environment, and provide the community an opportunity to ask Caltrans questions about the project. So Caltrans, under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, ensures no person in the United States shall, on the ground of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Caltrans will make every effort to ensure non-discrimination in all of its services, programs, and activities, whether they are federally funded or not, and that services and benefits are fairly distributed to all people, regardless of race, color, or national origin. In addition, Caltrans will facilitate meaningful participation in the transportation planning process in a non-discriminatory manner. Related federal statutes, remedies, and state law further those protections to include sex, disability, religion, sexual orientation, and age. For information or guidance on how to file a complaint or obtain more information regarding Title VI, please contact the Title VI branch manager at 916-324-8379 or visit the webpage at the link shown on this slide. We've added a link in the chat to a voluntary Title VI survey. This survey is to help us collect better information about the community we serve. Before we start to discuss the project, we want to discuss some of the meeting protocol and encourage participation. During the question and answer session, please click on the raised hand feature to request to speak. The moderator will call on you when it's your turn. You're also welcome to send questions to our moderator using the chat box at any time during the presentation. These questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation during the Q&A session. When contributing, please be respectful of other community members' concerns and input. Please note that comments made orally during this meeting will not be captured in the final environmental document. For comments to be included in the final environmental document, please submit your comments via email, by mail, or comment card on the WICS website. Instructions on how to submit comments will be provided at the end of this presentation. Additionally, the presentation is being recorded and the YouTube link of this recording will be posted to the Caltrans District 4 webpage under the project heading. We will provide this link again at the end of the presentation. The draft ISND is available between May 22nd, 2023 and June 20th, 2023 for public and agency review. The purpose of this meeting is to provide an overview of the proposed project, disclose environmental impacts, and provide the public an opportunity to ask questions about the project. Written comments sent via mail, email, or comment card will be accepted by Caltrans until the close of the public review period and will be responded to in the final ISND. The different methods to submit comments are in the chat, and we will cover them at the end of this presentation. The topics to be covered in this meeting include the project's location, purpose and need, project components, construction activity, environmental review, schedule, and where the draft environmental document is available to review. We will also cover instructions for submitting public comments, and we'll conclude with a question and answer session. The photo on this slide depicts roughly what the new bridge rails would look like at Location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge. I will now hand it over to Saman, the project manager, to discuss the project location and the purpose and need.
Thank you, Hannah. Good evening, everyone. I am Saman Suhaili, the project manager for this project. The proposed project is located at Post Mile Point 42, 1237, 2281, and 2296 on a State Route 1 in Marin County. State Route 1 within the project corridor is a two-lane conventional highway with little to no shoulders in each direction and no high occupancy vehicle lanes. The purpose of this project is to address bridge railing systems on 4 bridge structures in Marin County on a State Route 1. The photo on this slide depicts the existing conditions of location 2 at Escoute Creek Bridge. The project is needed to meet current Caltrans bridge railing safety standards. Safety standards for highway design consider speed, transportation modes, surrounding land use, size of current vehicles using the road, and the required safe distances between motorized and non-motorized traffic. The 4 bridges range from 66 to 95 years old. Modern vehicles travel at higher speeds than vehicles that were on the road at the time the bridges were constructed. Therefore, the bridge railings at these 4 locations need to be upgraded to reduce the severity of collisions. The photo on this slide depicts the existing condition of location 3 at Olima Creek Bridge South. I will now hand it over to James Tucker, the project engineer, to discuss the project components and construction activity.
Good evening, everyone. I am James Tucker, the project engineer on this project. Caltrans proposes to replace and upgrade the bridge railings at location 1, Coyote Creek, location 2, Escoute Creek Bridge, location 3, Olima Creek Bridge South, and location 4, Olima Creek Bridge North on State Route 1 in Marin County. The project would also include widening the bridges to accommodate the new bridge railings. Location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge, would be widened by approximately 2 feet on each side. Location 2, Escoute Creek Bridge, would be widened by approximately 2 feet 1 inch on each side. In addition to accommodating the new bridge rails, widening at this location is to also accommodate the reconstructed standard sidewalk width. Location 3, Olima Creek Bridge South, would be widened by approximately 1 foot 5 inches on each side, and location 4, Olima Creek Bridge North, would be widened by approximately 8 inches on each side. Lane and shoulder widths would remain in place. Location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge, is the only location where the abutments would be widened, and at location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge, and location 3, Olima Creek Bridge South, the wing walls would be modified. The photo on this slide depicts the existing conditions of location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge. Additionally, the upgraded bridge rails would improve safety for bicyclists and pedestrians. Prior to the beginning of construction-related activities, construction area signs, environmentally sensitive area, ESA fencing, temporary debris catchment systems, and gravel bag berms would be installed. ESA fencing would be used to protect vegetation, trees, and other sensitive areas from construction-related activities. This photo is an example of how ESA fencing was used on a different Caltrans project. It effectively kept construction activity away from the trees and vegetation. The temporary debris catchment systems would be installed to contain and prevent demolition and construction debris from entering the creeks below the bridges. They include, but are not limited to, attachments on construction equipment, plastic bibs, plastic sheeting, liners, tarps, netting, drip pans, and absorbent materials. The gravel bag berms would be used at location 1 Coyote Creek Bridge and would be placed outside of the water, away from mean high or high tide, close to the abutments. A transportation management plan, TMP, would be required for the project. It is anticipated that the proposed construction would require one-way alternating traffic control. Work would be conducted one side at a time. Therefore, one lane would be closed and one-way alternating traffic control would be utilized. The TMP would include public information and press releases to notify and inform motorists, local businesses, community groups, local entities, emergency service providers, and local officials of the upcoming closures and the work involved. Additionally, optional detour routes would be offered to the traveling public at location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge, and location 2 at Scoop Creek Bridge. This is a visual simulation video of the detour route at location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge. The video points out Coyote Creek Bridge, Tennessee Valley Road, Marin Avenue, and Flamingo Road. The northbound detour would begin at the intersection of State Route 1, also known as Shoreline Highway, and Tennessee Valley Road. Turn left onto Tennessee Valley Road, as you can see the white dot marker following the red line, right onto Marin Avenue, right onto Flamingo Road, and at the end, at the intersection of Shoreline Highway and Flamingo Road. The traveling public would then turn left onto Shoreline Highway to continue traveling north. The southbound detour would be the reverse. Signage to guide the traveling public through the detour would be made available. This is a visual simulation video of the detour route at location 2 of Scoop Creek Bridge. The video points out a Scoop Creek Bridge adjacent to the Stinson Beach Fire Station, as well as Arenal Avenue, Calle Del Mar, and Shoreline Highway. The northbound detour would begin at the intersection of Shoreline Highway and Arenal Avenue. Turn left onto Arenal Avenue, right onto Calle Del Mar, and then end at the intersection of Calle Del Mar and Shoreline Highway. The traveling public would then turn left onto Shoreline Highway to continue traveling north. The southbound detour would be the reverse. The project is anticipated to be constructed in 3 stages. The northbound side would be completed in the first stage. The first stage would include closing the northbound lane, restriping for one-way alternating traffic control, installing temporary barrier systems along the center line of State Route 1, installing temporary crash cushions, and installing temporary traffic signals along the approach sections. Then vegetation would be cleared where applicable. The bridge would be widened, the bridge rails would be upgraded, and vegetation control would be installed. The northbound lane then would be reopened. This construction methodology then would be repeated for the second stage of construction to complete the southbound side of the bridges. The southbound lane then would be reopened. Location 3, Olema Creek Bridge South, and location 4, Olema Creek Bridge North, would be combined into one work zone. I will now hand it back to Hannah.
Thanks, James. Let's see, make sure. Yep. As construction of the bridge rail replacements concludes, the third stage would include removal of all construction-related items. This includes removing the ESA fencing, removing the temporary debris catchment system, removing the gravel bag berm at location 1, Coyote Creek Bridge, and removing construction area signs, removing temporary barrier systems along the center line of State Route 1, removing the temporary crash cushions, removing the temporary traffic signals along the approach sections, and restriping. For areas that require clearing and grubbing of vegetation, vegetation control and revegetation efforts would be finalized during the design phase. In addition, the project would conclude with a 5-year plant establishment period once construction is over. We will discuss the project features and avoidance and or minimization measures that address revegetation efforts in the next slide. This photo is a visual simulation of location 4, Olema Creek Bridge North, proposed conditions showing minor to no changes in the surrounding vegetation. Project features, PFs, are measures incorporated into Caltrans projects to reduce environmental impacts. They can include both design components of the project and standardized measures that are applied to most, if not all, Caltrans projects. Avoidance and or minimization measures, AMMs, are additional measures to avoid and or minimize a project's environmental impacts, but are more specifically tailored to a given project's particular impacts. Section 3.3.1 Aesthetics and Section 3.3.4 Biological Resources of the draft ISND address revegetation efforts. We've highlighted the revegetation PFs and AMMs due to the sensitivity of the area, such as PF AES 5, revegetate and reseed disturbed areas, PF Bio 9, replant, reseed, and restore disturbed areas, and AMM Bio 1, restoration. These are the PFs and AMMs that are listed in the draft ISND and would reduce, avoid, and or minimize impacts to vegetation. Additionally, a compiled list of PFs and AMMs can be found in Appendix C of the draft ISND. The environmental review that has been conducted for this project is summarized in this slide. All resource areas analyzed in the draft ISND, also listed here, were determined to either have no impact or a less than significant impact determination. In the previous slides, we highlighted some of the aesthetics, biological resources, and transportation impacts due to the sensitivity of the area. Appendix C of the draft ISND includes a compiled list of all PFs and AMMs to address all resource areas that have a less than significant impact determination. In addition to analyzing each environmental resource area and determining the level of impact per resource area, as summarized on the previous slide, part of the environmental review process is to account for any construction activities taking place on a Section 4F resource. Section 4F declares that it is the policy of the United States government that special effort should be made to preserve the natural beauty of the countryside, public park and recreation lands, wildlife and waterfowl refuges, and historic sites. For parks and recreational areas, a de minimis impact is one that would not adversely affect the activities, features, or attributes qualifying the property for protection under Section 4F. 2 temporary construction easements, TCEs, at Location 1 Coyote Creek Bridge would cross the Charles F. McGlashan Pathway. The attributes and features of the Charles F. McGlashan Pathway, such as recreational activities that qualify the pathway for protection under Section 4F, would not be adversely impacted. Therefore, the evaluation concludes with a preliminary Section 4F determination of de minimis. 1 TCE at Location 4 Olema Creek Bridge North would fall on the Point Reyes National Seashore and the Olema Valley Dairy Ranches Historic District. The attributes and features of Point Reyes National Seashore, such as hiking, wildlife viewing, and picnicking, which qualify Point Reyes National Seashore for protection under Section 4F, would not be adversely impacted. Therefore, the evaluation concludes with a preliminary Section 4F determination of de minimis. The attributes and features of the Olema Valley Dairy Ranches Historic District, such as historic properties that qualify the historic district for protection under Section 4F, would not be adversely impacted. State Route 1 would remain a contributing feature of this historic district. Therefore, the evaluation concludes with a preliminary Section 4F determination of no use. This is the anticipated schedule for the project. The public review period started on May 22nd, 2023, and will close on June 20th, 2023. Within this period, Caltrans will accept written comments from the public. These comments will be responded to and incorporated into the final ISND. expected to be available to the public June 30th, 2023. If the project is approved, the design phase will begin right after and end in October 2024, which it will then be advertised for contractor bidding. Afterward, construction is expected to begin in December 2024 and be completed by August 2026. The 5-year plant establishment period would begin immediately after the construction completion date and is expected to be completed August of 2031. My apologies. To review the document, we welcome you to visit the Caltrans District 4 Environmental Document webpage by following the link provided in this slide, or you can read the document in person at the Point Reyes Library or the Marin City Library. Additionally, if you'd like to re-watch this presentation, the YouTube link to the recording will be posted on the Caltrans District 4 Environmental Document webpage as well. To submit a public comment, please email the project email address at 04_0P960_project_inbox@dot.ca.gov. Send your comment by postal mail to the address shown on this slide, or submit a comment card in the project's Wix website by following the Wix website link on this slide. The link, mailing address, and email address are also in the chat. Finally, we'll have a question and answer session. If you wish to ask your questions now, you can click on the raised hand feature on your screen to notify the moderator. One of our team members today will address your questions or provide more information. Just as a reminder, comments made orally during this Q&A session will not be captured in the final environmental document. We welcome you to submit a written comment by June 20th, 2023. Caltrans will respond to written comments received via email, postal mail, or comment card in the final environmental document. Excuse me. We will leave this slide up during the Q&A so that everyone can be sure to accurately capture the email address, mailing address, and Wix website link that comments will be submitted to. Also, as a reminder, please fill out our Title VI survey if you'd like to. The link is in the chat, and this survey provides us with information that will help us better serve the community. It is now open for the Q&A session. I think I see, if I'm looking at the chat, it looks like Mia would like to go over the construction timeline. Oh, okay. I think that was sent directly to me. So, okay. Yeah, Mia, I will, let's see. I will navigate over to that. This is our anticipated schedule, so it's subject to change. This is just what's anticipated. Did you have a specific question about it?
Thank you. I think I came in late and I didn't hear if you were starting from the south and going north or working on them all at the same time. If you could help me with that.
Yeah, James, do you want to provide some info on the construction methodology?
Yeah, this is James Tucker, the Caltrans project engineer. It has been determined that all bridges, all 4 locations would be worked on concurrently. The number of working days provided for the project would force the contractor to do them all at one time. And it should be, what I'm hearing, it should be done in one season or probably over the summer. Does that answer your question, or do you have any additional questions?
No, that was really helpful. I was also wondering, about mixed use, like bicycles and things, if there were safety measures to make sure that they could also travel on through the one lane that's set up during the construction schedule.
Absolutely. The details regarding the movement of pedestrians and bicyclists through the construction zone haven't been determined yet. They will be provided a safe passage through the construction zone. And there'll be probably at times flaggers out there guiding people. We haven't determined the details, but that's a requirement.
Thank you. That's it at this time.
Thank you.
Yes, Jesse, how can we help you?
Well, first of all, thank you for all the work today. My name is Jesse Perry. I'm the fire chief of the Stinson Beach Fire Protection District. Obviously, our station lies right next to the East Cook Creek site, and just curious if the construction may impact our operations if we have to close one of our apparatus bay down, just because it's so close to the proximity of the construction site. If anyone could speak to that.
This is James Tucker, the project engineer. We're well aware of the proximity of the Scoot Creek Bridge to the fire station. We're going to do all we can to minimize impacts. We don't plan to block your driveway. It's going to be, a lot of the details haven't been worked out. And there may be cases in which we actually have construction personnel escorting people through that work zone, since there's no space for some usually typically required traffic control devices. Rick Young, I've noticed you're on the call. Do you have any additional information?
Hi, no, I don't. I mean, like you mentioned, we understand kind of the proximity of the fire station. So I mean, a lot of those details I think will get worked out as we go into the PSNE phase. But I think we're going to try to maintain access as much as we can at this point. I don't recall talking about having to close off any of the bay.
Perfect. Well, that's helpful, and we're happy to work together however we can to make it smooth on both ends. So feel free to reach out if you guys need anything as the project moves forward. Thank you.
Great. And that was Rick Young, our traffic safety engineer.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse. We'll definitely be in communication with y'all as soon, as we approach construction. And finalize our plans on how to handle traffic. So thanks for that comment, Jesse. Let's see. I don't see any other questions in the chat box. Yeah, feel free to raise your hand or chat a question.
Hannah, I did just slip another one in, which had to do with special event coordination.
Oh, okay. Yes. What specifically are you asking?
Well, for example, most events, of course, are on weekends. Are you working Monday through Friday?
Yeah, I believe so. James, are we proposing weekend work? I can't recall.
At this time, no. I think it's just a regular, work week, Monday through Friday. However, all the traffic control devices would be in place on the weekends, and there should be clear passageway for motorists, bicyclists, and pedestrians, all users.
Great. We have a number of large events, so we'll watch the schedule and be sure that participants are notified about one lane, etc.
Yeah, and those detours would be available at Coyote Creek Bridge and Escoot Creek Bridge in Stinson Beach.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mia, and thanks, James. All right, yeah, I don't see anything else in the chat. Or anyone's hands raised.
I had another question. This is Mia. I haven't looked at the designs. I saw railings. Are there any improvement to pedestrian passage over the bridges?
There is at Escoot Creek, which has the sidewalk. So that bridge, the sidewalk will be widened to the standard width. However, the other 3 bridges don't have pedestrian access on the bridges themselves. So there will be any addition to any kind of pedestrian access on the other 3 bridges.
Great, thank you. At Coyote Creek, there's an alternate access, so thank you.
Yes, the pedestrian bridge next to the Coyote Creek Bridge won't be affected. That'll just stay in place and be unchanged.
Yeah, and also be aware that at Coyote Creek Bridge, the bridge railings that are being replaced, new bridge rails are bicycle safe, whereas they are currently of an old standard. So that's an improvement. And then also at Escoot Creek Bridge, the bridge is being widened enough to provide a standard bridge sidewalk width, and then the current the asphalt concrete, the black pavement, kind of a just a walkway. It'll be portions will be upgraded to concrete sidewalk, and then on the northbound side of State Route 1 at the Scoot Creek Bridge, if you're familiar with the area there, when you cross the bridge, there's a drop off there. It just ends. There's no transition to the driveway of the fire station. That'll be modified so that it's almost like a curb ramp, so that it so safety is being improved there.
Great, thanks for highlighting those improvements. So Escoot Creek has been known in past years to be a steelhead stream. That's farther downstream, but are measures in place to protect any debris or any material from going in the creek that could possibly impact the steelhead, since some of this construction period is during the time when they may be present?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Someone else want to jump in? Or?
Go ahead, Hannah.
I was just going to say, Mia, that we are going to be having debris catchment systems at the 4 bridges to prevent any debris or construction material from falling into the creek.
Great, thanks for reassuring me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not sure if you can see my name, but I'm with the National Park Service. So we'll work closely with you on the Arenal detour to make that work well.
Okay,
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
Yeah, thanks, Mia. Well, if anyone is, free to leave, we're here for questions. If anyone wants to stay on and ask questions, or yeah, participate in the Title VI survey if you haven't already, that'd be great. We're here. Or if anybody wants to see a specific slide again, just let me know. Well, it looks like we are a full team of just Caltrans and Jacobs, if I'm looking at the participants list correctly.
No, we still have guests.
Who is that, Jessica? I don't think we do, unless I'm not seeing. Jessica, do you mind letting me know who the guest is if you see them?
Yeah, it's right under Celine Tang.
Oh, Ronald is Caltrans?
Just says iPhone guest under Celine
Oh,
Tang.
iPhone is Arnica. So I think we're good. I think we're good. I think our yeah, Mia wrote, so she direct messaged me. I'm sorry, that's why you can't see it. She wrote signing off. Sorry, I just saw that. Okay. Hey, sorry, Arnica, were you jumping in?
Oh, I was just going to see if this is Arnica. I wanted to make sure I am iPhone.